Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined today from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin. Our friend Tiffany Schultz is back. Tiffany, how are you doing this fine January?
I'm great. It's cold outside and I'm looking forward to spring.
Well, me too. And I think because we got the winter so early this year, but I digress. Today, we're going to be talking about how to choose a tax preparer. You're like, oh man, it's already that time of season. Yes, you should start to think about it, right? Tis the season. I'm going to only use that one more time this year, I promise. Anyways, let's talk about this. What should folks get ready for as we turn to tax time?
Well, there's a good thing about tax time is you have a little bit of time to prepare. Taxes aren't due until April 18th of 2023. So that's what, 4 months? You have to go ahead and collect everything and review who's going to be preparing your taxes and even research if you need a new tax preparer. So we're here to give you some tips on what you need to do in order to look for a new tax preparer.
Yeah, I use a tax preparer and have gone through a few. There's so much research that you should do on the front end before getting involved with the tax preparer. What are some things that we could look for choosing the right tax preparer?
The first thing that you need to know is that there's more than just a CPA for a tax preparer. So tax preparers can be enrolled agents, they can be CPAs, they can be non-credentialed tax preparers, and they can also be attorneys. So you need to know exactly what you need out of a tax preparer in order to move forward and pick the right one for you. So do you just need somebody to do a basic filing for you? Maybe a non-credentialed tax preparer will work just fine. But if you're a business owner and you have a lot of different forms that need to be filed, maybe you want to look in the lines of a CPA to file your taxes for you. So know exactly what you need in order to move forward and start the research process.
And in that research process, should you be afraid to ask for qualifications for said person?
Absolutely not. If somebody doesn't share their qualifications with you or or their credentials, it's fair and for you to want to know to ask those hard questions. What are your credentials? What allows you to be able to prepare my taxes for me? If you're going with a non-credentialed tax preparer, it's okay for them to say, they've taken such and such class and they fulfilled all their requirements. But if you're working with a CPA, they're going to have more credentials. And if you want to go ahead and verify those credentials, feel free to ask them for that information.
All right. Well, we've kind of got the background look at it, but now looking at kind of making the promise of, oh, I can help you save some money this tax season. What would you say to that?
You may come across a tax preparer who tells you that they can get you more money than their competitor. If somebody tells you that, you really want to be careful with that because likely they're engaging in shady tax practices. And if they're telling you they can get a lot more money than your competitor, that's a red flag that you want to do more research and interview more tax preparers and more people. Because if there's, 1 out of 5 that's telling you they can get you so much more, it's probably a red flag and a deal too good to be true.
What about the question too? What happens if I get audited by the IRS after you do my tax return?
Keep in mind that not all tax preparers can help you with an audit or any problems with your taxes as they move forward. Some tax preparers only work a certain time frame. Some of them are only credentialed in order to help you prepare your taxes, not fix any problems or work with you through an audit. So if that's something of concern to you, you're going to want to know up front if this person will be around and how you can get in touch with them if a problem should arise.
All right. The next big one that I've learned about, both on a good way and the hard way, is availability of the tax preparer. You need to ask the question, can you get it done this year?
Yes, before the filing deadline, because if you need to do an extension, sometimes there's a cost in relation to that. So when you go ahead and you hire a tax preparer, you want to have everything prepared already that they need in order for them to execute your taxes in a timely manner. That April 18th deadline is just not a soft deadline. It's a hard deadline, and there's extra paperwork if you need to file for that extension.
And what should you expect to get back from your tax preparer too, or what could you ask to make sure like you have an understanding of what are they delivering or their deliverables back to you?
You can go ahead and ask them what types of forms they expect to have to file and what the fees are associated with those forms that they have to file. You can ask ahead of time if they anticipate from the information you can provide them if there's a refund that's due. You should stay away from not anybody who asks you, but if a tax preparer does say that you can get a refund anticipation loan, that's something that you should stay away from because there's usually more money that comes out of that loan than what you would get back if you waited for your regular return. So keep that in mind too, that that's something that, may not be the best for your financial situation.
That's a whole nother subject that you definitely could spend some time on because that's always interesting. And I always think, what's the catch on that if you get it early? But makes sense. Final one here. If things don't add up, what do you do?
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If your spidey senses are going up that this person just isn't for you, that person probably isn't for you. Keep in mind that you're going to be working very closely with this person. You need to feel comfortable with them. So if something's not adding up, go ahead and do some more research and move on to the next person that you'd like to interview and do your research on.
Tiffany, it's a lot, it's complicated, right? And there are so many areas we're probably not touching here as far as choosing the right person for this. But guess what, folks? Tiffany has a secret place you can go to that's not so secret on getting more information about this and any other question you might have when it comes to the tax season. Where can we go?
Head on over to bbb.org.
All right, Tiffany, thank you so much. Great information. Appreciate you. And we'll check back in with you real soon.
Thanks for having me.